All right, we do have a weather alert day up for today, but it's not because of severe weather. It's mainly for those river flood levels we're going to watch all day long today. Now, really, all the streams, all the creeks, all the rivers, they're going to be high. Not all of them, however, are flooding. So all are high, not all are in flood stage. Only some are. And we'll take a look at the typical trouble spots here in a second. We also have some pockets of localized flooding going on this morning. As we go through the afternoon, that should get a little bit better, although we are expecting to see another round of at least a very small scattering of more storms as we go through this afternoon. Nothing to the extent of what we saw yesterday. So these are the area rivers that we're keeping an eye on for today. Again, the James near Lynchburg up at Holcomb Rock and in Buchanan, they're high. Probably shouldn't even be in the river, but they're not in flood stage. The James at Holcomb Rock at 11.2 feet, James at Buchanan at 8.7 feet. The Dan, that is always a trouble spot, and all of the Dan at Danville, the Dan at South Boston, the Dan at Paces, all expected to crest in minor flood stage. That's an improvement from yesterday. Yesterday was expected to crest in moderate flood stage, so still high, still expecting a little bit of a flood, but not as bad as what we were expecting yesterday. The Dan at Danville will crest later on tonight. The Dan at South Boston will crest on Sunday morning. Sand River at Randolph expected to crest on Saturday morning in minor flood stage, and the Pig River in Sandy Level expected to crest later on today in near flood stage, along with the Roanoke River over there in Roanoke. So again, all the rivers are high. All of them probably should not feature you in them today or really this weekend, but only some of them are in flood stage. We do have an area-wide flood warning up until 7 o'clock this morning. These are the river flood warnings we were talking about, and this up here in Nelson County is still our flash flood warning. That goes until around 6 o'clock this morning when that will expire as this last little gasp of rain starts to exit. We are still looking at some showers south of the Stanton River this morning. This is not going to make a bad situation worse, but it is providing more rain to already saturated grounds, places like Oak Level, Chatham, and also into Danville. We did have 2 tornado warnings out here about 5 minutes ago, just outside of Richmond, with these last little bands that are still kind of streaming northward up into D.C. No active tornado warnings out there now, but we still have this tornado watch for Northern Virginia, for the Richmond Metro, and Hampton Roads. That goes until 7 o'clock. In fact, Hampton Roads has actually been under some form of a tornado watch for about the last 20 to 30 hours or so. So this is a tiny touch overdone, I think, by 7 a.m. As we go forward through the day, that moves out. Again, maybe a small scattering of storms later on today. Coverage not all that impressive. Most backyards, I think, are dry. And then as we go forward through the weekend, I think everybody's going to be dry, as we'll look for a really nice day both Saturday and Sunday. Outdoor plans, didn't get anything done outside yesterday. If you're looking for something to do outside, you should have 2 really good days going forward on the weekend.
Remnants of tropical depression Debby lingering. The ABC 13 weather team has issued another weather alert day.
We are on the ground covering the damage from the storm, but first we're going to check in with meteorologist Will Stafford. And Will, this brought a lot of rain to us, but I'll tell you, my drive-in just had to have those windshield wipers on intermittent.
The rain is not coming down right now, and we're not expecting to add as much problems today as what we did yesterday. However, all that rain that fell yesterday, all that water's got to go somewhere, and it's going to empty out into our area rivers. As you can tell, most of the rain well out towards the east of us right now. We've still got a few lingering showers in a few spots, but this is mostly light rain. This isn't going to make a bad situation worse. The tornado watch that was originally scheduled to expire at 7 o'clock has been canceled for our area. Still goes for Hampton Roads, still goes for Richmond, still goes for D.C. There's actually still a tornado warning up right now just outside of Richmond that will not impact our area. Visibility is a little bit reduced this morning with all that moisture in the atmosphere still there. 3 to 4 to 5 mile visibility this morning, Danville, South Boston, and over into Lynchburg. Temperatures mid-60s to mid-70s, depending on exactly where you are outside this morning. We do keep the showers around, but again, that shouldn't add insult to any injury. After Patty said, we did pick up a lot of rain yesterday, but our concern today are going to be those river levels. We're talking the streams, the creeks, the rivers. There are a few rivers in particular that we are watching. We're going to highlight those coming up in just a few minutes.
And as Will mentioned, Debby dumped a lot of water throughout the region. Heavy rain fell here in the Hill City. Our meteorologists say 3.2 inches have fallen so far.
ABC 13's Jacob Hunsaker is out live at the Hollins Mill Dam on the Blackwater Creek in Lynchburg. And Jacob, I know when there's a lot of heavy rain, that dam has a lot of water going over it. How are things looking?
Well, Patty, Paige, good morning to both of you. As Will mentioned, and as you both just touched on, 3.2 inches of rain has fallen over the last 24 hours. and it's got to go somewhere, and it's definitely going here. If we turn the camera, it's going to be a little bit difficult because of how dark it is, but you can see that water is just a couple of feet away from us from where people are normally walking out here early in the morning. That water has risen substantially here over the last probably 24 hours or so. It hopefully will start to recede as the rain stops throughout the day today, but that doesn't seem to be the case right now. Just a couple of feet that way, of course, is the actual dam. That water, it is so loud here, so much additional water pouring over. Something else I want to point out here is just in the last probably 10 minutes since we first arrived here on the scene, the water down here going underneath the bridge has risen probably an inch or so. So the rain is still coming down here in this particular spot, and of course, it all has to wash away somewhere. You can see it was even up higher over the last probably couple of hours. All of this runoff, all of this dirt has risen upwards. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this throughout the entire morning, because if it rises just a couple of feet, it could impact roadways here in Lynchburg. As of right now on the drive out here, not too many issues. We'll keep you posted here probably in the next 15 minutes or so and throughout all of Good Morning Virginia. We're live here in Lynchburg this morning. Jacob Hunziker, ABC 13 News.
The town of South Boston says it is well prepared for flooding. First responders are keeping a close eye on the situation there. According to Fire Chief Steve Phillips, they expect the flooding to likely affect the roads until Monday. So far, they haven't closed any roads, but Phillips says his crews are closely monitoring 2 areas for flooding.
501 corridor that runs from the short bridge where Dan River's at all the way over to the 58-501 intersection will be underwater.
Chief Phillips says the road closures could lead to some serious detours for emergency vehicles on the south side, but they are working closely with VDOT and South Boston Public Works to keep you safe.
Now, 6 school divisions were supposed to have their first day of school on Thursday, but Debbie had other plans. Pittsylvania, Carroll, Grayson, Botetourt, Nelson, and Bath counties are all closed again today. Danville, which should have started on Wednesday, is also closed.
All right, take a look at this damage from all of the rain that we have been getting. The first floor of this home in Pamplin on Richmond Highway fell into the basement. Appomattox Volunteer Fire Department Chief Jonathan Garrett says a foundational wall collapsed, which caused it to sink in. Chief Garrett says a person was home at the time of the collapse, but they were not hurt. At this time, the chief says they don't know if what happened is weather related. They do tell us the house has been condemned.